July 29th, 2021. We have just had an 8.2 earthquake in Alaska. It was about 46 kilometers deep. So the bad news is 8.2 is a pretty big, pretty solid earthquake. The good news is it wasn't super shallow. So, as your planetary defense commander, Star-Lord New Thor 7, I'm here with you, doing the best I can in my live version, trying to keep everybody updated. Now, I'm not trying to freak anybody out. My initial sense was this may be like a warning shot from like the sun. You know, like everything in the universe is always telling us to get our shit in gear and to stop fighting and being dickheads and dumbasses. But we still aren't listening that much. And so, pretty much, I don't know if you guys know this, the sun derives, the sun pretty much creates the weather. You know, there's one main, like for example, if the sun just shut off, everything would get cold, probably super freezy. And so, like, I think we all know the sun is the main driver of the weather. And in my mind, the last solar maximum we had was a double peaked solar maximum, which was really weird. And so we have watched the sun this July super wake up, like go from no sunspots to 6 sunspots, and then it dropped back down to 0 sunspots today. Some people are connected to the moon, some people are connected to the sun, and then some people have no connections whatsoever. Or those people, I don't know, maybe they're connected to cryptocurrency. But I'm a sun guy, so I feel like I have a connection with the sun, and I love the sun. I think the sun is life. Anyway, this video is gonna be weird because, look, man, you know, like Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, Mars, they all begat Jesus, or even Muhammad. All the planets were around, and they've been through tons of shit. And so, as a Christian, I know people sometimes when I talk about planets, everybody freaks out. I'm like, can't handle it. I'm like, oh my God, they're talking about planets like they were people, or like they were demigods, or like they had some type of power over our weather or energy or something. I'm like, yeah, people used to do that before smartphones and technically before televisions. But what I'm trying to say is Venus is like this shit matters. It's like a big play that is going on. Mars is totally lined up with Earth and Jupiter right now. So, and Jupiter just retrograded back into Aquarius. Super big deal. Went out of Pisces with Neptune, is now in. So Jupiter's broing out with Neptune from May to today, and now Jupiter's going back with Saturn, where they had that whole shindig with Pluto that caused the whole space plague that is still fucking everybody up. I don't know, everybody's arguing about the damn plague all the time. All right. Hey, I'm like, I have to recalibrate, as a Sagittarian, I have to recalibrate every time major planet changes happen, and that's what I'm doing now. So yes, it's totally inconvenient and unfortunate this earthquake has happened, and hopefully my communication skills will be acceptable. Tsunami sirens sound in Kodiak, Alaska after a major magnitude 8.2 earthquake struck off the coast, being evaluated for the Pacific. I'll remind you guys again, man, like, as your planetary defense commander, like 2 months ago, the giant space plague monster came in and killed between 2 million and 5 million people in India. And America didn't even bat an eyelash. America didn't even notice. And so I warned everybody that that wave was coming to us next. So we need to pay attention to how bad it hits India, where it hits India, how it hits India, how it frustrates India, why they're burning tons of bodies in the streets all over. Like, America needed to be paying attention to that. America did not pay attention to that. Hey, what's up in the fucking trending tags? Make Tucker pay. Are you talking about the Jeff Daniels movie by Spielberg? I think it was Spielberg. Called Tucker, about car makers. Hold that tiger. No, they're probably talking about politics. Anywho. And so tsunami warnings are up. Multiples have been issued. The fluid dynamics of tsunamis and earthquakes is a very unknown science. All of our science money and energy and focus has been poured into climate change. We haven't really focused on the sun that much, what causes the sun to work. We haven't really poured a lot of money into earthquakes and volcanoes and magnetic fields. Because remember when they were like, hey guys, the moon is wobbling. You know, that's where we're at. So with all the gas giants on the same side of the sun, we knew that, I mean, everything's over here, this space is empty. We knew that it was going to be crazy. And we know the second half of 2021, like, this is the second half of the movie. We're beyond the midpoint. You ever seen a movie? All right. And shout out to all the weather lovers and hashtag WX Twitter. You guys are always super fantastic. And whenever you bitch about stuff, I think it's super cute. Tsunami warnings are priority 1 on the NWS map precedence order. I mean, I don't know if you got friends or family up and down the coast and the West Coast. But I don't know. You do you. There are 7 billion people on the planet. Like, yeah, I recommend. Like, for example, imagine, do you think the moon and the sun ever get listened to us complain and yell at each other and talk shit all the time? Like, if the sun could and moon could hear us, and the stars and the planets, if they could hear us, do you think they'd get tired of what the fuck we've been talking about? You think they'd want us to get our shit in gear and stop being such dickheads, angry at each other? For reasons, asterisk, I'm watching Captain America Civil War again, having started at 11 p.m. local time. Oh, wow. I don't know if this is going to be any good. But I was working on a video today. And hackers came in and stopped me. We are tracking the tsunami. BG weather, tsunami appears to potentially be in progress. This isn't good to be blunt, but just follow tsunami protocol. Make sure you guarantee your safety above anything else. So, like, whatever the West Coast drills are, you know, that you guys live right next to the ocean. And so it's, I don't know, I would guess have a plan. I hope you do. In oceanography, we model a tsunami as a shallow water wave. That means its height or amplitude to wavelength ratio is small. In other words, water might rise, say, 10, 20, or 30 feet, but over a course of 100 miles, they travel rapidly, though, and arrive suddenly. Any type of West Coast tsunami window would have like anywhere from like a 2-hour to 6-hour window where you really got to pay attention. And remember, at the end of the day, I am a YouTuber who has, for 7 years, been your planetary defense commander. I do the very best I can to give you guys solid information in moments like this. And I never want to make mistakes. I don't want to get people killed. And I sure as fuck ain't out for clicks because I've been shadow banned for almost a decade now. But I'm just saying that as of right now, it's best for people on the coast to watch this thing. And I would like to take this moment to also point out, as your Planetary Defense Commander, that it amazes me that we've watched this plague blob monster pandemic coronavirus roll through our cities for a year and a half. And it kind of changes every time. So we don't know what the wave is going to be like for the next 3 months, but we know the wave is going to hit the United States of America for the next 3 months. And we don't know if it's going to be Category 1 hurricane pandemic or Category 5. And so I would say right now, us getting the 8.2, this just gives us a basic sign of what this period of August, September, October, November, which could be the most challenging 100 days we've faced ever. I mean, you've got a tsunami warning up and out for Hawaii as well. So what I'm trying to say is that the solid physics working in practice between earthquakes and tsunamis can be, nobody knows what's going to happen next. It's best to be prepared for the worst and pray for the best. NWS Anchorage, a tsunami warning is in effect for South Alaska, the Alaskan Peninsula. A tsunami advisory is in effect for Southeast Arkansas, sorry, my mouth is so dry, I can't even talk. I gotta solve that problem real quick. Oh. Reached for what I thought was a bottle of Gatorade, but it was a bottle of ranch dressing. All right, here we go. But I found the Gatorade. All right, calm down, take a breath, try to stay cool. Yeah, this is all Alaska, and it's happening in real time. Climatologist and Brian Breschinger is in Alaska, so he's kind of our boots on the ground, weather Twitter. Asteroid Fight Club. Grant Gilmore, major earthquake, a magnitude 8.2 earthquake occurred along the Aleutian Chain in Alaska. Tsunami warnings are in effect for much of the southeastern Alaskan coast. There are currently no warnings for the Pacific Northwest. And so it looks like the West Coast is safe, but it's weird that they would have a warning up for Hawaii, but not, I don't know. I'm just saying, if you're on the West Coast, I would definitely pay attention to the next 6 to 12 hours. And it's weird that I've seen people in the chat using the old joke about, like, if LA fell into the ocean or like it hit with whatever, like learn to swim. And it's just so weird, the whole weird, how uncivil the discussion has gotten. Where, you got some people who are like, hey, learn to swim. And then the other side would be like, hey, learn to take a fucking vaccine. So we might, we got multiple fucking waves coming at us. Whether or not this caused a wave. So I'm not saying people are gonna get hit by that, but we got multiple tsunamis coming at us. Thank you very much, Dusty Moon. Like, I'm just telling you my own Norse Christian Jedi gut was that this is almost like let's call it could be almost a warning of this isn't the big one, and this may not have major effects, but as the guy who spent 2019 and technically from like 2015 to 2019 getting you guys ready for whatever monster was coming in 2020, that the next 100 days are just the nextest level asteroid fight club, Team Earth. And you got some people who are like, hey man, we're all just gonna die. Or the raptures, like you got people hoping and betting for shit to go sideways, like civilization to just collapse. And then you got me as your planetary defense commander that's somehow gonna stay optimistic through whatever shit show the next 3 years are gonna be. And I think things will slowly improve, and that 2024 through 2028 could be really, 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 really great years, and like a renaissance on all levels. Anyway, so I'm just watching here with you. But if you're on the West Coast, I would prepare. And we are live in Twitter time, so I'm not responsible for any tweets you may see in my timeline. All right, that is good news. No tsunami threats for Anchorage. Thank you, Andrea. See, but Tommy Tone, here's the deal, man. You know, that, like, I don't know, me and H, you put the band back together. The majority of my friends got smart and good at one or two or multiple skills. Just like in the end of Stripes, the movie, why not put the cool guys, the cool women, all the good teams, the talented people who know how to not fight and just blame and accuse how to put the people who want a cool place to live, Earth, put them together in a team, like at the end of Stripes, and they pass the test. I think that's gonna happen. That has been happening since 2015. And to my party friends in the West Coast, like, if you can afford it, technically bugging out can be fun or an adventure. Like if you don't get hit by the tsunami and all you did was drive to the east 50 miles, hopefully you had a good road trip and the radio was playing well. Like, with disasters, my whole thing is like, I don't want to be without power for more than 2 days, or technically a whole day. So if I think I got a chance of being without power for more than a day or two, I would much rather go north from Houston, somewhere where I would have power. And then hopefully my friends would be excited to see me because they know I would only be there for a couple days and then I would go back. And they get to win friend points. I don't know if y'all are cool and you like to have good friends and treat your friends well, win friend points. The earthquake is being evaluated for BC specific info. After an earthquake, different evaluations are done to produce the most accurate tsunami assessment possible. This data will inform the final threat level for BC. Stand by for more info. We're now up to tsunami warning number 3. It just seems weird, like, if this was the end of the world, to be arguing over Olympic athletes and whatever clown Fox News rolls out. Like across, like people always talk about the New World Order, but all they did, it was like wrestling. New World Order was a worldwide wrestling thing. So they took the like wrestler spirit and then they just put it on your news show. So yeah, that's your New World Order. It's all about chaos. It's about dipshits keeping people riled up all the fucking time. You have some son of Alex Jones running on going, hey man, the Illuminati deep state caused this earthquake. And then another dude will run back on and be like, this earthquake is fake news. Like, I don't know, man. I'm trying to be as cool as possible. Please. Yeah, encouraging news so far out of sand. So, like, it's technically no matter what an Asteroid Fight Club drill. And I just want to say, you know, I've lived in Texas somewhere, either in Houston or up in from Houston to Denton, the last decade or 12 years. And I like Texas. Texas definitely seems like a safe place. No place is really safe right now, though. You know that. It's like a. But until you get balance in the solar system, I mean, all planets are over here. Like, until Jupiter at least comes around to balance the shit out, we're gonna have earthquakes and volcanoes. And so that's at least 2024, 2025. And so I don't know, I'm just. Colorado, I would put Colorado second place as far as where we consider the safest places. I think, if, I think Asteroid Fight Club will survive. But I mean, like I'm saying, whenever the like robot money showed up on planet, humans started getting their ass kicked real bad. So I guess that means the robot money showed up in like 1988. They just didn't unroll it out to the public to like 2008, 2012. Like, here you go, here's your robot money. What was that? We had a 6.3 in Nevada this month. Yeah, please send love. Whoa. Hey, nostalgic 80s, you're as smart as every other human being on the planet. Nobody knows what's going to happen next. And just because you get like X amount of people to agree with you, that doesn't make it correct. So I'm just saying, technically nobody knows what's going to happen next. And I definitely don't think we're in the end days. You do? I don't think anybody knows. And then we got this crazy ass fucking storm rolling across Wisconsin. James Wilson, Tornado Kid, Night of the Storms continues. Be safe, my friends in the Midwest. All right. You see, like you're turning. I don't know. You guys saying source has had enough. God has had enough. That like God has been in control the whole time. I believe like not much happens without God's will. If I understand correctly, nobody really fucking knows though, man. Like out of 7 billion people on the planet, nobody really passed the test that really proved any one of us knew more about God than the other people. I mean, that's very subjective. But no point. I'm a Norse Jedi Christian, and at no point in time was I raised to be a quitter. Just say, give up. Bad guys are gonna win. Everything's gonna get suckier. Okay, you guys mind? We'll check back on the tsunami thing, but I made a video today. Hackers came and shut it down, so I didn't finish it. Here we go.
Tether is a stable coin, so that it basically is pegged one-to-one with the dollar,
supposedly
hundreds of billions of dollars. And
there's another huge elephant in the room.
So it's important that people understand the role of Tether
and its potential for huge catastrophic fraud in the cryptocurrency space. So Tether is a stable coin. It is supposed to be pegged to the US dollar. 1 Tether equals $1.
Paulo just said something right away that it's pegged one-to-one to the US dollar. That's not exactly the case though, is it?
We are backed one-to-one to our reserves. And
your reserves are not the US dollar.
No, they're not completely US dollars.
Huge elephant in the room.
No, they're not completely US dollars.
And this is where things get interesting and shady.
So is this about trust as well, Stuart, then?
And this is where things get interesting and shady.
Clarify some of the information out there, whether you think that's misinformation, misperception, but you guys are sort of ready to answer those questions and maybe talk a little bit more about those reserves. Do you hope to gain trust from your community?
So I think that what I'm basically saying is that Tether definitely is flatlining.
Large earthquake has occurred near the Alaskan Aleutian Trench near Perryville. A tsunami warning is in effect for large portions of western Alaska, including Kodiak and Homer. See, dude, this is so the Odyssey. Tsunami advisories are in effect as far as East Janu. Hawaii is under tsunami watch. And I'm aware that Earth has had its fair share of heroes, and every hero that existed before me continued on the hero chain and added to the hero love, to the hero energy, to the hero information. So at no point in time am I giving up, because I think the bad guys have won and our chips are just totally getting cashed in anytime soon. You can look at the world and bet differently from your own perspective. The Dixie Fire has been huge. And it is very strange how much we argue and fight over the definition of things. Like, correction, this was a great earthquake. Was it really that great, bro? But I believe it, like everything past 7 in degrees of magnitude moves up exponentially. And so 8 is a pretty big earthquake, and especially so close to like the body of water. Like that happened out in the ocean on the volcano chain. And those are all volcanoes. The volcanoes go like whoop, the ring of fire. And the 2021 has been a volcano advent calendar. We've had a major volcano eruption. All right. And this is just my personal opinion, but if you have like an 8 even over like 7.5 earthquake hit anywhere near along the coast in the ocean for the next 6 hours, I would definitely stay on tsunami watch no matter what. I mean, I know I'm in Houston, Texas, and I'm pretty sure I won't be sleeping the next 7 hours. You could feel the energy. Like, I don't know if you felt all the energy today, but it was like, you could feel the whole Jupiter into Aquarius and Jupiter opposing Mars. Look, but I mean, right now, all signs are encouraging and sounding good. Like, this makes it. If I'm reading this correctly, makes it look like this is almost the best case scenario, with the ejecta going outwards. So even if I'm making a mistake and they're like, hey, I think the danger may have passed, if you were on the coast, it is technically your responsibility, whatever paranoia level you would want, it's your responsibility to go with your own gut call at the end of the day. All right. I'm pretty sure everybody can handle less than a foot. So that is great news. Maybe that was Neptune throwing a temper tantrum because Jupiter's went back to Aquarius. Sometimes brothers can be jealous or angry or just, throw temper tantrums. Neptune, Saturn, Jupiter, they're all family. It's weird how the Mars-loving people never want you to talk about any other planets. Like, fuck no, man, we don't want to talk about the moon. We just want to talk about Mars, baby. Mars is the only planet out there. Fuck Mercury, fuck Venus. Can't talk about them. Saturn, Jupiter, Neptune, Uranus, Eris. All different. No, we just want to talk about Mars all the time, baby. Mars. Now here, buy some robot money. It's from Mars. My horoscopes have been saying that, for me personally, the next 7 days are going to be very challenging. That like somehow people in my workspace would be jerky. So I gotta play defense all week, yo. So I recommend everybody play defense all week. Okay, I just figured it out. So it's like, you ever Game of Thrones? If you ever watched it, it's like the White Walkers are coming, and then there are dragons around. So the next 100 days, it's like, dude, there'll be White Walkers running through town, and there might be dragons and volcanoes, and I don't think the entire civilization is going to end. Like in Game of Thrones, even after the giant dragon fight and Daenerys died, and their civilization didn't end. Everybody didn't die. Like, overall, humans are on a planet are super resilient. And so the next 100 days, we know we're getting attacked by the Delta variant White Walkers. And then the whole fiat crypto thing. And then the Russia, China, USA. Yeah, dude. Everybody's James Bond these days. Everybody's a soldier always on duty for the next 100 days. Because this is the future we spent 20 to 40 years giving ourselves. All right, sorry. I'm trying to stay cool, but the Jupiter transition from Pisces to Aquarius is fucking me up. Help me, Jesus. Help us all. Yeah, that's why it's like, I thought May to July 27th was fun. That was when Jupiter was in Neptune. Jupiter was in Pisces with Neptune. All the floods happened. But the energy was overall seemed to be more chill. And so Jupiter will retrograde until October in Aquarius with Saturn. And then Saturn and Jupiter will start to have a forward direct motion somewhere around, and Jupiter will enter Pisces again in December. And then Jupiter will run straight through Pisces for 6 months. And then we get Jupiter in Aries for the second half of 2022. And Aries is war and the warrior, but also the hero. So 2022 looks like a good year. We might even see rock and roll come back to Earth in the best fashion and form we've ever had it during the 2022-2029 phase. I think that's what I'm here for. Whatever everybody wished for Christmas and their birthdays, and I was wishing for peace on Earth in a super cool, fun form of rock and roll life. Yay. So I still think it's possible. I know that's not popular to say on the YouTubes, especially in the truther community. Like, bro, I think good guys are going to win, and we're going to keep it together, and we're going to make it better. Americans always do the right thing after they've exhausted all other options. Somebody said that a long time ago. Yeah. All right. Stay cool. Hey, man. I don't get off yet. But we've noticed, the buoys always give a signal, but rarely. Wait, is Lost a sitcom? I've never watched it because it didn't look funny. If it's a sitcom, I'll check it out. I just finished up watching all of Cheers again. And restart Brooklyn 99. Oh, and 30 Rock. 30 Rock is so good. Yeah, I would be watching at least a sitcom, your favorite sitcom of all time, every day during the next 6 months. Even if it's one episode, take your favorite 2 sitcoms of all time and just start at the beginning and watch 1 or 2 shows of that every day. Remind you how funny we can all be when, it's a mid-90s world. All right, so we got the tsunami wave evaluation continuing. If a wave was generated, it will be reaching some buoys in the next few minutes. The tsunami watch or advisory has not been issued for the Washington coast. So right now, all preliminary reports look good. Technically, if you're on the West Coast, I would stay mindful the next 6 hours. And since we got a couple minutes for the update, I'm going to show you the second half. Here we go.
I promise you. The dawn is coming.
And here we go.
And so this whole cryptocurrency space is opaque, unregulated, and nobody really knows what's going on because of the anonymity of it.
You guys rarely do interviews with mainstream media. I'm not sure if you ever have. I couldn't find any.
So we don't disclose our commercial partners.
Man, don't slow down.
Thor News presents. Welcome to another grand transition adventure.
Look around you. I have never been more alive.
The stage is set. The principal players are in position. The curtain is up.
Where do we begin? What uses power? Well, greed certainly needs power, doesn't it? If you have enough power, you can take any fucking thing you want.
And let's talk about what's going on in the world of Bitcoin and crypto today.
Getting some breaking news on the wires here regarding crypto. Tether executives reportedly facing a criminal probe to top bank fraud. DOJ is reportedly looking into whether Tether misled banks about its crypto business.
Is it possible for us to call up any of the unbelievable interview that Deirdre Bosa did last week?
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Paulo and Stuart. Stuart.
Two Tether, I don't even want to call them executives. I don't know, two Tether people.
And there has just been so much scrutiny of stablecoins and Tether in particular.
These guys do stablecoin, of which they're very unstable.
The broader community trusts us, so
We are very discreet and we're very sensitive to revealing information about our counterparties. But
the industry needs further regulatory clarity on stablecoins.
So
It's kind of like an audit, but it's not an audit. What's the holdup? Why can't you guys have a proper audit of Tether reserves?
Tether is considered by many the backbone of the crypto industry.
since February of 2019, we've grown from just over $2 billion worth of issued tethers to our current market cap of in excess of $62 billion in issued tethers, a growth rate of more than 3,000%.
Tether is being widely used across crypto exchanges as a way to get in and out of positions. So that is quite important.
Regulators have become increasingly concerned about transparency in the trading of stablecoins, the reserves backing them, and how much market participants rely on them to enable trading in decentralized finance, also known as DeFi. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell acknowledged before the Senate Banking Committee that stablecoins would need an appropriate framework. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen will meet with the President's Working Group on Financial Markets next week to discuss the role stablecoins could play in the financial system.
And not to mention, China has also banned cryptocurrency usage.
A year ago, these cops and lawyers wouldn't dare cross any of you. I mean, what happened?
Dude, Thor News fucking editing touchdown right there. You know, like the fact that like a year ago, I don't know, what? I'm sorry. I let my ego slip. Please forgive me.
I mean, really, really weird stuff.
Bitcoin, it just seems like a scam. I was surprised. You know, with us, it was at 6,000 and much lower.
So let's get into some of the details. Stuart just said that you guys are backed by reserves. You guys published a pie chart that showed less than 3% of that actually was US dollars. More than 50% of that is commercial paper.
We are leaders in transparency.
Our portfolio composition in commercial papers, we believe that is quite important to respect the privacy of the banking partners that we work with.
And we guard our counterparties' relationships with great discretion.
You can see the crypto markets went down significantly from the top 65K for Bitcoin, for example.
We believe that the community has already vested its trust and confidence in Tether.
Now, I wish I were joking about this topic, but I'm never joking. I recently sold all of my Bitcoin, my Ethereum, my Cardano positions. I have a little bit of Dogecoin left, but I'm planning to liquidate that as well because recently some information has come to light that has made me skeptical about this whole cryptocurrency market, thinking that the whole thing could be being pumped up by a Ponzi scheme.
New York State does not allow them to do business.
You don't like Bitcoin? You wouldn't invest in Bitcoin?
I don't like it because it's another currency competing against the dollar. Essentially, it's a currency competing against the dollar. I want the dollar to be the currency of the world. That's what I've always said.
Wait, did you say where did Neptune fit in this video? Dude, okay. Before Jupiter entered Pisces with Neptune, I told y'all cryptocurrency was going to crash. And so it went from $64,000 Bitcoin and it fell to $29,000 Bitcoin. And I told y'all that when Jupiter entered Pisces with Neptune and left Saturn all alone in Aquarius, that the digital guys were going to be left all alone with Saturn, which is like karma, and Saturn's Batman. Batman's very Saturn. And so Batman was alone without the Jupiter party there. Jupiter went and partied with Neptune, the oceans, the water, rock and roll. And so Jupiter has now come back into Aquarius with Saturn, with Batman. So Thor has returned with Batman, but the whole game has changed much differently than what it was in December of 2020. Thank you. So, like Neptune, which is Poseidon, Saturn, which is Kronos, Jupiter, which is Zeus, basically all just got past Pluto, Hades, and they're happy to be away from that dude. Remember 2020 sucked? And so like it feels like Zeus, Kronos, and Neptune are broing down in the weirdest of ways. And it's affecting everything. And that for the last 20 years, all everybody talked about was Mars. Mars, 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 Mars. So it feels like to me the next few years are going to be about the sun, moon, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune. We'll hear a lot more about them, and Uranus. And then, of course, Venus, Mercury. Then that giant comet the size of a planet that's headed our way in like 9 years. Remember when I was like, everything's gonna be cool till 2029? Oh, I don't, okay. If I've said too much, please forgive me. Try not to go overboard. Yay! Boom! Now we're getting tsunami threats canceled. That's what I was waiting for. This is now officially a tsunami threat cancellation party. But John's had Nemesis slingshotting around the sun. It feels very Star Trek-y. That if we can figure out how to get human beings to get along with each other, the animals, and the planet, we can handle any exterior threats to us. If we can master ourselves and master loving to learn, living with each other. You know what I was thinking about that? Like, I got shown 3D architecture where they can 3D print skyscrapers and apartments and houses, and they can 3D print that shit in no time, and they know how to do it on levels they've never shown the public. It's like I've been waiting in like 3D, like new architecture, new city holding pattern for, I don't know, 10, 20 years. Like, you guys are still arguing about whoever, Fox News and CNN, or like, do you want to argue about an Olympic athlete, or do you want to argue about Tucker Carlson saying January 6th? Remember, I called January 6th from like 6 weeks out. I was like, this day is going to be fucking crazy. That's the day that Mars stops going retrograde and goes direct. Now, you got Tucker saying, or the January 6th was a hoax, and then the coronavirus, the vaccine is it, you know, it's a super bad thing. I don't know. Getting the public all riled up seems to be easy to do. Oh, shit. Let's go back to this thing. I don't think it was any surprise that it happened during the storm that is happening now. I mean, that's a whole lot of... It definitely looks like a dragon. And that is a good bit of lightning. Mike said you only lose money in crypto if you sell the bottom. I don't. Can I personally just say at this moment, because remember, crypto exploded during the pandemic as Google, Facebook, Twitter got everyone to argue with each other during the first year and a half of the pandemic. Crypto exploded, bro. I mean, that, like, when I talk about Hades and the Hadesness of it, like, Hades made a killing and a fortune in crypto and got it through the Hades gate. But it seems like if some gold came with a curse, like, I think crypto might have a weird monkey's paw effect. There's some very Twilight Zone-y about it all. Because you guys trust the wallet makers, the digital wallet makers. You guys trust digital shit. Shit that ain't real. It's digital. It's not gold that you can put in a bar. It's not cash. It's a promise that you have it. And the whole Tether video was about, like, I'm just saying that what happens with crypto over the next 3 to 5 years is going to be very interesting. But at this point, during a pandemic, while everybody's talking about it, if you die with crypto, then, like, that stays in the crypto sphere. That doesn't even get inherited on. I mean, there's so many aspects to all the things that nobody ever really talks about. I don't think I'm gonna win any heaven points or friend points. Like I said, but I don't want to be out here making calls and losing people money. Well, you could definitely see crypto do well over the next, while Jupiter is still in Aquarius. But like I said, America has not stepped up and given its attitude on what it's going to do with its cryptocurrency regulation. Cryptocurrency is going to be here. China's going to roll out their own digital currency in 2022. And it's kind of like you have space agencies, and because you have a president that comes in every 4 to 8 years, it's hard to build any type of larger scale vision. And since Biden at 78 is going to be in there for 4 years, like, building a fair and honest cryptocurrency regulatory taxatory, like, that for all the shit about fiat is the thing that buys the bread and keeps the lights on and has the roads paved. That, like, fiat built the whole, like, the civilization. And so no matter what, like, it was the people spent the money that they were building their worlds in. And that crypto is off-world money, man. I mean, that's what it feels like to me. Wait, I don't want to go overboard. I'm saying, as it's a new, like, it is so new, and traditionally with finance, they try to keep the average Joe dumb about money, not that interested in anything other than if it goes up or down. Oh, man. All right, so there. Looks like the tsunami warning is off. But Brian saying to my 40 new followers this evening, be prepared for insufferable moose and daylight content. You have been warned. And I don't know, my subscriber count and follower count on Twitter and has stayed the same for like 2 or 3 years now. It just pretty much don't change ever. And my views pretty much stay the same. I get about 1,000 per video. And that never changes. So I don't have to worry about warning new followers. Because whoever's here's been here for a while. Yeah, I recommend teamwork. But, I think the next 100 days are going to present us all with our own 8.2 earthquake in our lives. How we respond to that and deal with the day-to-day challenges of waking up, eating, living, keeping the lights on, keeping rent paid, not getting the virus, not getting in a road rage incident. We're all going to face many challenges over the next 100 days. But be sure and check back. And if you didn't face any personal major 8.2 earthquake challenges in your own life over the next 100 days, you could be like, Thor, man, you fearmongered that shit. I had 100 perfect days where I didn't have to worry about nothing. And there wasn't even a single strange thing. Like, you remember when the Gulf of Mexico had a giant volcano-looking oil burning under the ocean thingy that kicked off July? I think I'm still freaked out about that. I just haven't had a chance to process it all so much. And I too like Zemo. Zemo is one of my favorite characters in the MCU. Like, he was just funny and I don't know. But yeah, they say he's a bad guy. Yeah, we're canceling, but that's only for a while. But I think I don't think it's gonna. Is Cranky Weather got done completely? I always hold out hope and I pray that he will come back eventually, like Han Solo in Star Wars, to help Luke. He's been gone for like 6-7 months. And, you know, talking about Earth and space weather on Twitter or even on the YouTube, it's a crazy place. It's a giant. You got gangs fighting for whatever. And so not everybody wants to put themselves out there, even anonymously. It's a weird world. Hopefully he'll come back. If he's out there, I totally miss him. So the warning just remains in effect as of right now for Alaska. And sometimes my mind can't help it. I oversimplify, I guess you could say, stereotype some people. Like, I assume people from Louisiana and Florida and Hawaii and Alaska have an extra layer of toughness most people don't. Just by living by that part of the ocean and whatever sands you're walking on every day. Hey, if you ever get a chance, watch the movie Nanook from the North. It's like 1908 about Alaska. And you can see how much the world has changed in the last 113 years. It's changed a lot, bro. China's been cracking down on their economy. I just want to say this. It was one of the weird. I don't think everybody paid attention when Biden and Putin met. One of the things Putin said just once, one day, said one sentence. He said, "We're not happy with the pandemic profiteers." They made that announcement and it was just done. And so I don't know, the regulatory, the 2022 regulatory air of it all, I think is going to be totally different and changed in 2022. And that the year 2021 is still mirroring 2020 in a lot of ways. Remember, a year ago, 50% of the people, 46% of the people were 100% sure Trump was going to win. No question about it. Some people even thought he was going to get 12 years in office total. He did not. And so 46% of those people never saw that coming. And I think this year is mirroring that in a lot of ways. And that either between the plague or between whatever America's reaction may be on cryptocurrency, or if people have been deliberately putting out misinformation. There may be more of a regulatory crackdown when things calm down in 2022. That's just a guess and a speculation. I'm just saying, the second half of the year, I don't think anybody knows exactly what's going to happen. And I think last year showed at least 46% of the people definitely didn't know what was happening next. And it was like everybody wrote their answers on the page of what they thought was going to happen at the end of last year. Be prepared for surprises. That's all I'm trying to say is be prepared for surprises. And stay humble and stay cool. God bless everyone. Okay, as of right now, it looks like we still have a tsunami warning remaining in effect for portions of southern Alaska. But I think the earthquake happened here, so that was like 37 minutes ago. No, that's an hour ago. So any earthquake here would have already hit. So I'm not that worried about it, but if you're in Alaska, I would still do whatever you do as an Alaskan. This is not your first rodeo. But remember, in 1950, people in Alaska got super sucker punched by an earthquake and tsunami, so know your history. But use the force. All right. So it looks like we may be out of the woods on this one. Though stay vigilant for the next 6 hours if that's what you're into. Oh, yeah, we still got the storm. Severe thunderstorms with 70-mile-per-hour winds are now moving through the Chicago metro areas and points westward to Wheaton. DeKalb Malta. So I was born in Illinois. That's a beautiful place, too. I love Chicago. I like cities, dude. Chicago and Houston. Even Dallas and Austin and Fort Worth. But Chicago and Houston are big cities. How many big cities we got? 4? We got Houston, New York, Chicago, Los Angeles. Real big cities. Crying hippie. One of my deep, dark goals is to spend a lot of time in Canada. Because Canada's always been like the secret agent Valhalla, well, like place above us. Where to me, like Canada's just a giant secret society where everything is cool and nice there. And the women are more beautiful there. And it's like this where, and then you guys have Sasquatches or whatever. And wood fairies. And I don't know, I've always heard Canada's like this magic place. And so I hope one day I get to pass into the gates and spend quality time in Canada. It's almost like in a video game when you like unlock a whole nother level. Like, you now get to go to Canada. But when I go there, I got high expectations for good dialogue, good cold beer, heavy drinking when you're going ice fishing. But you got to go ice fishing with good friends, or else why the hell would you be ice fishing? It's kind of like playing pool, technically, or bowling. It's boring, but if you're doing it with friends, it's a good time. Wait, poutine? Go dirt biking through the woods? Or whatever. And Canadian bacon. I was thinking it's crazy. They got American bacon and Canadian bacon. Or I guess world bacon and then Canadian bacon. Oh, man. I just want to say again, as your planetary defense commander, pretty much when I really started my YouTube channel and doing it every day, all week, back in 2012-ish, when it first started, Thor News, I haven't watched a minute, like, I haven't watched sports at all. No disrespect to anyone, just saying that all seems like bread and circus to me. But yeah, the virus, dude, the numbers are super jumping. We jumped from 20,000 people in the hospital in the USA from COVID to 43,000 in 15 days. The peak of that thing was 120 hospitalizations in December 2020, which led to like over 4,000 deaths a day. So we don't, the spike will probably last for 2 to 3 months. We don't know how bad it's going to be, but just stay cool. People have been primed to just argue with each other the whole time, no matter how bad it gets. But the Mother Earth has been earthquakey the last week or two, and the sun's been freaking out for a month. So I definitely suggest everybody improve their attitude, adjust their frequency, and be grateful for all that is good. Yay, infrastructure. All right. And then, so that the storm thing will continue to move here to the east as it exits off of the East Coast over the next 48 hours. Whoa. All right, so everybody stay cool. I'll talk to y'all in the near future. And Merry Christmas to everybody who celebrates. And Merry whatever your holiday is. Talk to y'all soon. God bless everyone.